नमस्कार दोस्तों, मेरा नाम है सी ए हेमंत गुप्ता एंड आज मैं आप लोगों के सामने इंसॉल्वेंसी एंड बैंक्रप्सी कोड के रिलेशन में कुछ अमेंडमेंट डिस्कस करने जा रहा हूँ। यह अमेंडमेंट बेसिकली डील करती है प्री पैकेज इंसॉल्वेंसी रेजोल्यूशन प्रोसेस। आप लोग सब जानते हैं, अभी रिसेंटली 4 अप्रैल 2021 को प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने अंडर आर्टिकल 123 ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया एक ऑर्डिनेंस को अपनी अनुमति दी है। उस ऑर्डिनेंस का बेसिकली नाम है आईबीसी अमेंडमेंट ऑर्डिनेंस 2021. The basic reason which was given under this ordinance was to address the distress faced by MSME, especially due to COVID period. Even though the government had taken a lot of measure in order to address the distress faced by MSME sector, like by increasing the threshold limit of IBC from 1 lakh to 1 crore, then also suspending the IBC in the COVID period from 25th March 2020 till 24th March 2021. But even after that also, a lot of MSME sector, a lot of constituent of MSME sector are facing a lot of problem due to IBC provisions, because people are defaulting due to various economical reasons. It's not that there is an intent on their part to default, but yes, because of their peculiar structure of being an MSME, even though they are part of a corporate structure world, but still in a lot of way they are unorganized. So if we look at the unique feature of MSME, they are basically a family-owned business, maybe 1 or 2 people actually running the business, even though in corporate form. They are the one who only knows how the business is being run. उनके डेटर कौन है, कौन उनके एक्चुअल क्लाइंट्स हैं, उनके बिजनेस फॉर्मुलेशंस क्या क्या हैं, उनके सप्लायर्स कौन हैं, उन सप्लायर्स के साथ उनके रिलेशनशिप कैसे हैं, whether they are working on a personal term or some structured way, even those people know it. So if we are going to take them to insolvency regime, there is going to be a lot of stress on them. And India being predominantly depending on MSME sector, we will face a lot of backlash, economic backlash, if these MSME sector players are being taken to insolvency. So considering all this thing, there was felt a tremendous need to come out with some form of insolvency resolution process which will cater exclusively to MSME sector. Okay. So what would be the basic criteria behind that structure? The resolution has to be quick. There has to be cheap or reasonable cost of execution of that insolvency. Then there has to be value maximization also, with least disturbance and preservation of jobs. That has to be kept in mind. So considering all this thing, Government of India came up with this ordinance, even though this pre-pack concept was in pipeline or in discussion with various stakeholders for quite some time. So finally it has come and seen day of life with effect on 4th April 2021. So upon introduction of this amendment or this ordinance, there are basically, I will be discussing these amendments in 2 parts. First part will be a smaller part which entails a consequential amendment due to introduction of pre-pack insolvency resolution process in various other sections of IBC. And second would be a relatively detailed discussion on part 3, rather chapter 3A under part 2, which is a newly introduced chapter in relation to pre-pack insolvency resolution process. So starting with the first part, the first amendment is there in section 4, which basically gives power to central government to notify default amount in case of pre-pack insolvency resolution process, because these words have also been incorporated in proviso to this section in relation to chapter 3A. So basically the central government has already exercised this power through MCA wide notification dated 9th April 2021 and has given a minimum default amount of rupees 10 lakh or more. Okay. Then there is the insertion of new section, which is section 5 subsection 2A in definition section of part 2, which basically defines what would be a base resolution plan, It basically says a plan which is given under section 54A by corporate debtor. Then in section 5, there are also consequent amendment whereby pre-package insolvency resolution process word has been incorporated along with corporate insolvency resolution process word. Then there is a new section 523A, which talks about what would be a preliminary information. Basically, it's the information submitted by corporate debtor prior to initiation of this process. Okay. Then there is a section 5 subsection 23B, which talks about what would be pre-package insolvency commencement date. Then section 23C is there, which talks about what would be pre-package insolvency resolution process cost. So it basically talks about it would be cost of interim finance. It would be interim finance plus incidental costs associated with it. Then amount of fee payable to resolution professional plus his cost or out-of-pocket expenses. Then any cost incurred for keeping the organization or corporate debtor as going concern. Then cost incurred at the expense of Government of India or government for the purpose of pre-package insolvency resolution process, or any other cost which may be specified, which by the way they have specified under regulation, which we will be discussing in another video. Then section 5 subsection 23D is there, which states that what will be the pre-package insolvency resolution period. It's similar to insolvency resolution period, that is from the date of order of pre-package insolvency resolution process order, that is date of admission, till passing of order under section 54L, which 54L subsection 1, which means appointment of RP. Section 54N subsection 1, which is termination of pre-package insolvency resolution process. And third one is section 54O subsection 2, which is initiation of CIRP. These all sections we are going to discuss in second part of amendment. Okay, then there is a consequential amendment under section 11. आप सब लोगों को पता है section 11 talks about people or organizations who cannot file for CIRP. So there are two new insertion in this section, which is clause AA. It says FC or OC of corporate debtor undergoing CIRP cannot undergoing pre-package insolvency resolution process, not CIRP, cannot file for CIRP. Normal CIRP I'm talking about. And secondly, a corporate debtor who during the last 12 months has gone through chapter 3A and their resolution plan has been approved, they also cannot file for normal CIRP. Okay. Now after section amendment to section 11, एक नया section insert किया गया है, वो section का number है section 11A. It basically talks about conflict when some application under section 54 C has been filed for pre-packaged and section 7, 9 and 10 application. It basically says that first section 54C application has to be disposed of, then number comes for section 7, 9 and 10 application. However, if section 7, 9 and 10 application पहले ही फाइल कर दी गई हैं, लेकिन प्री पैकेज एप्लीकेशन विद इन 14 days of filing these application कही गई है, तो in that case also you need to first dispose of pre-package insolvency application. However, if section 54 application 14 दिन के अंदर भी नहीं फाइल की गई और 14 दिन के बाद फाइल की जाती है, तो in that case adjudicating authority will dispose of section 7, 9 and 10 application before considering section 54C application. Okay, but इसमें एक और पॉइंट है, any application pending which is date of promulgation of this ordinance, that is 4th April 2021, pending under section 7, 9 and 10, those will have to be disposed of first. In case of those applications, section 54C, or rather I should say section 11A will not be applicable. Okay, now then moving on to next set of amendment. In this consequential amendment only, section 61. Section 61 has also incorporated relevant provision of pre-package insolvency resolution in case you want to file an appeal for order made under section 54L subsection 4, 54N subsection 4 and 54O subsection 2 in relation to liquidation and initiation of CIRP. So in that case also, Section 61 has been amended. On the basis of these order, Section 61 can be invoked. Then Section 65 is there, wherein some penalty of rupees 1 lakh to 1 crore has been prescribed for fraudulently initiating pre-package insolvency. Okay. Then moving forward further, there is a new section 67A and 77A have been incorporated. 67A simply talks about fraudulent management by the officer of corporate debtor during pre-package insolvency resolution period. In that case, penalty of rupees 1 lakh to 1 crore has been prescribed. And section 77A says that punishment to officers. So basically this punishment varies from minimum 3 years to maximum 5 years, or a fine of rupees 1 lakh to 1 crore or both, in case corporate debtor gives false or omits to give any information which is material under section 54C, or in relation to preliminary information memorandum, they give false or omits to give any material information. The same kind of punishment, criminal and civil punishment, this fine is also prescribed for director or partner of corporate debtor who knowingly violates provision of chapter 3A. Okay. Then there are some small amendment in section 208 in relation to duties of insolvency professional, which also incorporates now duty of insolvency professional to take care of work prior to commencement of pre-package insolvency resolution process under section 54A, subsection 2, clause E. And then section 239 and 240 have also been modified, which basically grants power to central government to make rule under 239 and grants board, which is IBBI, to power to make regulation under section 240. So, and then section 240 has also been amended to incorporate also pre-package insolvency resolution process in relation to MSME application. So with this, I conclude the first part of my discussion, which is in relation to consequential amendment. Thank you for watching this video. I hope I have been able to give you some kind of crux in relation to pre-package insolvency resolution process in relation to sections which I discuss in this section. Kindly do let me know if you have any queries or question in relation to this topic. I would be more than happy to assist you in that. Thank you.